You know what I found? Something that explains everything.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby and today we are going to be talking about Lilly Singh. This video was not planned. I was up late last night and I saw this article and it was like Lilly Singh's late night TV show gets canceled. Or was it? They said it's not going to be renewed for a new season, but I took that as it being canceled. And then I read and I saw that Lilly posted this post that says she's going to be working with Kenya Barris. When will I get to live? But for the past year, I want to say around the time that she actually announced that she would be hosting a late night TV show, I've been seeing a lot of people make a lot of content about Lilly Singh, and to be honest with you, none of it is riveting, none of it is interesting. Most of it is just a bunch of white people, white men being butthurt that they are the butt of the joke on late night television. Like, her jokes could be terrible, they could be unfunny, but like the hell would have to freeze over before I care about white men and or white people getting offended by something, right? So I was looking through these videos and they were saying things, but they weren't having the conversation that I think that we should be having. So I decided to film a video and have the conversation by myself to anybody who watches this, I guess. This is not a video to bash Lilly Singh or anything. I just think that it's a conversation that needs to be had, and there are multiple written articles about this kinds of stuff about and I will leave some in the link below, but I haven't seen anybody, someone could have done it. I personally haven't seen anybody talk about this in a video format in the way that I would like to be, in the way that I would have liked to see it be talked about. That was a weird sentence. I want to talk about how we got here in terms of like Lilly Singh and my journey with Lilly Singh. And also I find it important to add, so I am born and raised in the Caribbean for 19 years actually. I came, and after that I came to Toronto. Live in Toronto predominantly for school. So I only bring that up to say a lot of the criticism that people levy against Lilly Singh, a lot of people will tell you, oh, well, she grew up in Toronto. Well, she grew up in Scarborough. Everybody that's not from Toronto, I'm not even from Canada, let me stop talking, but a lot of people will say, oh, well, she acts the way that she acts because she grew up in Toronto and it's a multicultural city. But I'm here to tell you that's not the case, and although that I've been here for 4 years, I'll tell you why that's not the case when I get to the actual point. So let us get started. I just wanted to clarify because it kind of sounded like I was trying to say that Toronto isn't multicultural. It is, but what I was trying to get at is that you can't, just because Toronto is multicultural, it doesn't excuse all of the things that she's done. So that, I just wanted to clear that up, and back to the video. So now we're gonna delve into something that I'm not proud. Am I not proud of it? I was a Lilly Singh stan before I knew what a stan was. I can't believe that I'm saying this. I knew her as Superwoman, Superwoman, I was there for Ask Superwoman Lives. I was there when she went on that tour, A Trip to Unicorn Island. I was there when she lived in Canada. I was there when she moved to her first apartment in LA. I was there when she moved to her house in LA. Like, this is not coming from a place of like ignorance or I just don't like her. I wrote it down. The first YouTube video that I watched of hers was on June 11th, 2013, and it was the video Why I Don't Go to the Doctors. I was 14 years old, and I rewatched that video before making this one, and it was suitable content for a 14-year-old.
What up everyone, it's your girl, Superwoman. So now I'm in this office with a whole bunch of cool crap that I obviously want to play with, but I resist temptation because I'm like, no, the doctor's gonna walk in any second. Like, okay, honestly, F it, he's not coming. So I get up and I play with all the equipment. And sure enough, 2 seconds later, he walks in and I'm just like... And honestly, on that note, any other hour of the day I could piss and effing scream, but ask me to pee in a cup and suddenly there's a sponge inside me. I might as well be a psychic. You know why? Because my pee is a silent. Lack of pee.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
I can see why it was so funny to me. That was the first video that I vividly remember watching, by the way, but it could have been a couple videos before, it could have been a couple after, but I scrolled through all of her videos and like that was the one that stuck out to me. That was the one where I was like, oh, I remember this is the one that I watched and it got me interested. So I only bring that up because like I've been here. Like I know what I'm talking about. I know what's been going on. I follow her content. The last video of hers that I watched was sometime in 2017. So that's 2013 to 2017. That's 4 years. I watched her constantly every Monday and Thursday, I think for about 2 years, and then I stopped my last year of the IB program and like right when I was about to head into my first year of university. So Lilly Singh was a part of my adolescence, and that's how it was. So now I want to tell you a little personal story about myself, and it correlates, I promise you it does. So back home in high school, I did the IB program, and in my last year of IB, I was the only black girl in my class. My entire class, like everyone in my class, was of Indian descent. So their parents, they were like first generation like Caribbean. All of their parents their parents had immigrated to the Caribbean. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. What was wrong with it was the way that I was treated in that class. I specifically remember having a debate. It was all of these kids against me. I think there were 11 of us in class, I think. And so it was essentially 10 on 1. And I had to argue with these people about why it was wrong for them to say the N-word. That was one instance. The second instance, we were talking about graduation, and at the time, the IB graduation was literally, they just gave you a pin and that was it. It wasn't this, they gave you a pin, the ceremony happened in one of our classrooms at school, so it wasn't this huge event. Like, I didn't even take it as a huge event. My regular high school graduation, when I graduated from high school, was more like, there was more to my actual high school graduation than my IB graduation. So we were sitting in class one day and I like cavalierly said, oh, well, my dad's probably not going to come because like my dad had to, my dad did night shifts at the time, so he would have had to work. And honestly, like it was just, I didn't see it as anything big. I was like, I'm just gonna go collect a pin and then go home. And one of the guys responded to me. He was like, oh, it's because you're black that your dad isn't gonna come to your graduation. And when I say it back, it's like, I think I've become desensitized to it. I still hope he burns in hell for the rest of eternity. And I only bring up that point, and I just want to reiterate that it's all based on white supremacy at the end of the day, but I bring it up to enforce the point that that was when I knew that POC solidarity was not a thing, and I had to listen for 2 years to those people insult me in that way. And it influenced the way that I went back and looked at some of the things that Lilly Singh was saying in her videos. Now, I just want to reiterate, this is not me saying that all people of like Southeast Asian descent, like no, don't get it twisted. Like I will not allow people to put words in my mouth. I'm just saying that those experiences, it just so happened to be that all of my classmates were of South Asian descent. So that's how I gauged it, right? So through that experience, when watching Lilly Singh's videos, I was like, okay, she's lost her mind. She's literally putting on a caricature of blackness and then portraying it to her audience, when I know you don't talk to your parents like this. I know, like, it's there, you can see it. So that was all of that stuff. Like I graduated high school like when I was 18, so I graduated IB when I was 18, so all of that happened. And during that span of time, like, I'm watching Superwoman videos. I think she was still Superwoman at this time. I'm watching her videos, but like I'm looking at it, it was almost like I was watching it for a sense of nostalgia, but I was looking at it from a more critical point of view. Like, girl, what is this and what are you doing? So I always thought that it was weird the way that she made fun of her parents. I just didn't have the word, like even when I started watching her videos in 2013, I always thought it was weird, but I just didn't have the words until I got older to articulate why I thought it was weird. So there is a strength, and there is a certain level of like power and courage to take back the stereotypes that people enforce upon you and your culture. We know that. This is not me saying that you shouldn't laugh at things that you do or that you partake in your culture. Like black people are known for just like joking through the pain, and then other people come in and think that they can joke with us. But no. But I feel like that is the whole point. When you have comedy, or at least what she was trying to do, comedy, there was no subversiveness to it. And I think where Lilly fell short in that is that she didn't recognize when people was laughing at her and when people were laughing with her. And people were laughing at her. There is a difference. When it comes to stereotypical jokes or making jokes like that, it only works really if you're going to deliver it the way that she was delivering it. It only works within the context of your community. People can look at that and be like, oh, that's just a stereotypical joke. That is an over-exaggeration. That is a caricature. But there were people outside of the South Asian community who were looking at that and who were thinking that that is actually how brown people and how brown families interact. And I know this because there were people up until 2017, when I stopped watching her videos, that thought that her parents' names were actually Manjeet and Paramjeet. Like the disconnect. I knew her parents didn't actually have such a thick accent because I watched her vlogs. Like I knew that her parents weren't what they were portrayed to be in that space. Like I knew that, but the majority of Lilly's audience didn't know that. Her channel, her like actual like main channel now has 14.6 million subscribers, and her vlog channel has 2.8 million. So like back in the day, like let's say her channel had maybe 10 million subscribers, 8 million subscribers, 9 million subscribers. Her vlog channel had probably maybe like 1 million, 1.5 million. People didn't know that like this is an act. And I feel by the way, I'm not brown, but this is just my interpretation of it, because I would never embarrass my parents like that. It felt embarrassing. And you know what? Maybe she and her parents have that understanding and they don't care and they're fine with it. And that's their prerogative. That's completely fine. But there are certain jokes that I have within my family, and there are certain jokes that you have within your community that are worth gatekeeping. Like, I'm not just going to let anybody in and out of my space like this. But then again, that is my opinion. I don't think that when it comes to her jokes there wasn't any intent other than it being a caricature. And this is where I have to bring up Hassan Minhaj. So, and please don't drag me for bringing up a man and comparing him with Lilly Singh. I'm just doing it to give an example because he talks about his culture a lot. He does, but it's always it's always bringing up stereotypes in order to subvert them and then offer like a teaching moment in a funny way. He knows what he's doing when he's doing that. Like Lilly has not gotten there yet. And that was something that I always felt, even while watching her videos and watching the content that she put out about, like, when she would do those skits about her parents, I always felt weird, like, should I laugh? Like, is this my joke to laugh at? Like, there's this is just me laughing at a stereotype. There's nothing else to it. So that was one thing that I found out that I just could not gel with when it came to her. Number two, I'm gonna say this, there's no like delicate or soft way of saying this. Lilly Singh is a culture vulture. Lilly Singh is a cultural appropriator, and we're just gonna have to, that is something that she's gonna have to come to grips with. And that is something that she's going to have to accept. I always knew that something was weird. I don't know, like, it was the black scent for sure. It was the coining of a lot of like Caribbean phrases when I'm just like, what are you talking about? It was a lot of that, but I knew she had lost her mind when she came out with that book and she was doing that promotional video with half of her hair done up in cornrows when she was trying to convince us that she came up and invented the word boss, which is African American vernacular English.
Hello, Unicorn Island. How can I help you?
So, you want to learn how to be a boss?
What's a boss?
Great question. Walk with me.
She tried to convince us, and she succeeded, because when you search up Google and you input and you put in the word boss, like I'm saying it how she said it because I don't, when you input that word, it is like Lilly Singh how to be a boss, Lilly Singh promotional video how to be a boss. That is what comes up. So the actual meaning of the word has been erased because she stole it and she profited off of it. She had a red lipstick with I'm slobbing. She had a red lipstick with Smashbox entitled Boss. And you just have to, you have to, and like black people every day, like African American people, like African people, like all Afro-Caribbean people, all members of the black community get slandered on a day-to-day basis about how we don't speak proper. Yet you have people like Lilly Singh coming in saying that she invented this word and then is able to profit off of it while we're told that we don't know how to speak properly. And so then when I say that, like when I saw that video came out, I did several double takes and I was like, she can't be serious, because this word can be heard in several insert black neighborhood here, and that's where you go and that's where you'll find them. And then I started, mind you, like I was like 18, so this is 2017. That book came out in 2017 and I was 18. I had done some reading and I knew a little bit more than I did when I was 14 years old. And I had unlearned a lot of the bullshit that I thought too. So I went back and I started looking at things. And this is what I found.
It's your girl Superwoman. Now wait, you might be wondering, what happened to Lilly? She used to be so nice, gori, chitti, like a dud. Nice hair. What is this bakwas? Aglagia. Satyanas. Some people say I look like Sean Paul. Some people say I look like Lil Wayne. Young Moolah, baby. I actually just came back from Dominican Republic, had a wicked town time, but I'm back black and ready to lay the facts.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
So that was one. That was like one of her first videos that she posted. And another one of her videos, IVIVI, her failed rap career. We're not even going to get into the caricature of her failed rap career. When it comes to Black people, she's in a dashiki with braids and beads. There's that. She puts on this fake black scent that it's just so cringeworthy, which is why I said in the beginning, I'm just like, I don't ever want to tell y'all this. Like, I was just, that's the thing. Like, I knew that something was off, but I just didn't. I hadn't done the reading yet. I didn't know exactly, but I knew something in my spirit. I was just like, something about this is not right.
Okay, so I forgot to add this part in just due to, I guess, me talking and not really following a script. But I just want to add that in regards to her quote-unquote career as a rapper and the things she did with that and the whole dashiki and the braids thing, I have forgiven people for more. And it's because she hasn't apologized for any of this. I don't think she's even acknowledged any of this. It's one thing to say, oh, hey, like, I didn't know and I did this, but I wasn't aware and I'm sorry for the hurt that it caused. But it's a whole nother situation to be aware of the criticism, because I'm pretty sure she's aware of the criticism. She has to be. So you're aware of the criticism, and the slap in the face is that you continue to perpetuate the same behavior. There is no change in your actions whatsoever. So I have to believe, based on what you've shown me, I just have to believe that you don't care. And we are just talking to a brick wall when we try to talk to you.
Let's talk about the Canadian part, the Torontonian part of it. I live in Toronto. I've lived in Toronto for the past 3 to 4 years. Would I say that I'm an expert on Toronto? No, I've been here for a little while. But I do agree with most people. Toronto is a very multicultural city, and there is a large Caribbean, Afro-Caribbean culture in Toronto. Now, with that being said, there is a fine line. I watched Lilly Sings, and the thing is, people will like to say, oh, well, this was a long time ago. Like, we're past that. Lilly Singh in 2019 did this thing with Variety, where they were going over Canadian slang. I was so disgusted by that she was the one to be there. Now, first of all, she was saying, oh, it takes influence from Jamaican patois. No, it's like copy and paste. It's like when somebody asks you to like borrow your notes for their homework and then the teacher calls you because it's identical. That's not influence. That's like Control V, Control C. I'm just mad that they could have literally, if they wanted to do Canadian slang, because, and she also said that people from Toronto talk like that. People from Toronto don't talk like that. You could probably find a Scarborough man that talks like that. You could probably find people in little pockets of the society that talk like that. But Torontonians at large do not speak like that. They shouldn't, because it's not theirs to use. So I don't know where the fuck she was getting that information from. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's changed from the years that I've been here, because nobody, like, I live in, like, I don't want to tell like, y'all exactly where I live, but like I'm in here. Like, I live in Toronto itself. Like, I don't live around the GTA. I live in Toronto. Torontonians don't speak like that. So Lily, where do we go from here? I was like, y'all, like, and it's the fact that it was her. Like, if it was a black person, I would have said patience. But the fact that it was her doing it just made me even more upset. It just made me mad. And then we have that damn remix that she did. I struggle to call it a remix. I didn't see it at the time. I saw it. I actually saw it when I searched Lilly Singh, and then a bunch of people were talking about it, and I was just like, what the fuck happened here? It was this last year thing. I'd have inserted it by this point.
Along the real bad girl, them want dance and can't dance. How comes? Watch this, cause I do the bad girl pull up. Small skinny thing, show the man them what up. Make the top bounce if your belly full up. No matter your size, let me see you turn up. All the girl on the left, bad girl pull up. All the girl on the right, bad girl pull up. Enough time, people tell us how the bad girl should be. So I say to my sisters, be free now, be free. If your hand stretch more, see the bad girl pull up. If your arm hit down, see the bad girl pull up. If you not care about me, see the bad girl pull up. If you like your face cake, see the bad girl pull up. If a big make you feel hot, bad girl pull up. If you're dancing at the crop top, bad girl pull up. If you want to have a wedding, see the bad girl pull up. If that's not where you're headed, see the bad girl pull up. If you give birth to kids, see the bad girl pull up. If you not want to give them, see the bad girl pull up. If you a stay-at-home mom, see the bad girl pull up. If the boss at the job, see the bad girl pull up. If a husband your intention, see the bad girl pull up. If you like girls in your mention, see the bad girl pull up. If you have a natural bum, see the bad girl pull up. Or if you had some work done, see the bad girl pull up. Bad girl forward, bad girl pull up. Bad girl forward, bad girl pull up.
Wait a damn minute.
I saw that, and it was just so disrespectful. And I know she doesn't care because she didn't respond to it when it was happening, but it's just so disrespectful. Because imagine me putting on a sari and me putting on a fake Indian accent and then remixing one of their songs. The streets would have my head, as they should, because it's disrespectful. I was looking at it and I was cringing. I felt secondhand embarrassment just looking at it. So why is it that it's always our cultures that are for play? It's always that was a mockery. That was a minstrel show. It was terrible. It was bad. It was disrespectful. I was looking, I was like, how dare she? You put on this fake Jamaican accent, if we want to call it a Jamaican accent, and then you get on Instagram, you film it, first of all, you record it, you film, no, not even, see, you write it, you record it, you film it, and then you hit post on Instagram. That just shows that you really do not give a fuck and you really do not care about what anybody has to tell you. It's just... And she didn't even apologize. When everyone was roasting her, as they should have, when everyone from the Caribbean was roasting her, as they should have, she didn't say anything. She literally said nothing. So you know she doesn't give a fuck. You know she doesn't care. And this is coming from someone who sadly used to support her, who used to watch all of it. I watched the vlogs. I watched the videos. And yeah, I forgot to say that just because you grew up around people who speak in a certain way, that doesn't mean that you have the right to speak that way, because it's not yours. It's not yours. So, I don't know. So now we're gonna get into the talk show. A little late with Lilly Singh. When she got her talk show in September of 2019, when it was announced that Lilly Singh was going to be getting a talk show, I felt indifferent because at that point she was very uninteresting to me. I had stopped watching her videos 2 years prior. I didn't even know if she still did videos at that point. But I was like, okay. I mean, I can see it, but I also can't see it because Lilly Singh didn't grow with her audience, so that means that a lot of her audience is still kids technically, and the show was at 1:35 in the morning, and children. There was a whole lot of logistical things that I thought was going to be wrong with it. And a lot of people have a lot of opinions about the show. I have not seen I had not seen one episode of the show until they announced that it was canceled. And then I got onto the YouTube page of the show, and it's a YouTube channel. It's a YouTube channel. Lilly Singh is talking to you like how I'm talking to you, with like a blue background. It felt like I stepped into a time machine and I was 14 again because nothing changed. Nothing changed. And this is where I started thinking, because I specifically remember there was one vlog, she was talking and she was saying that she doesn't get the views that she used to get on YouTube, which is normal because things are gonna come in and out of season a lot. Things are gonna trend, things are gonna not trend, especially like now there's this change on YouTube that I see going on where people like a lot of sit down talking content. So a lot of people that I watch are not pivoting, but they're being smart about it, and they're trying to, there's like a middle ground, especially if you want to be like on the internet talking about stuff all the time. There's a middle ground between what people want to see and what you want to do. There is nothing wrong with Lilly Singh deciding that she does not want to change her content whatsoever. The problem comes in where you're using the same jokes that I used to listen to when I was 14 years old. Because I did this, and I'll probably try to insert a clip. If not, I was too lazy and I didn't want to edit this video because it's already too long and I want to end it in the next couple of minutes. If you go onto Lilly Singh's channel, I like holding this. If you go on to Lilly Singh's channel like 5-6 years ago, and you watch a video from then, and then you go on to her channel of a video that was posted in 2020 and or 2020 and or 2021, I promise you're gonna hear the same jokes. You're going to hear the same skits, the same jokes about her parents and her relatives and her turning them into caricatures. You're gonna hear the same types of people who do this, types of people who do that. You're gonna see the same kinds of skits. You're going to see the same kinds of everything. And she like literally copy and pasted that formula and tried to put it into the context of a late night show, and it didn't work. It just cannot work. It can't work. And it's not even the fact that people are saying that she's not funny, because there's a lot of late night show hosts who are not funny. I do think, this is just me with my tinfoil hat, I do think that a lot of the criticism, some, not a lot, some of the criticism levied against her is because, dare I say, she's a woman of color. I know there's like a running joke with her and that, but I do think that some of the criticism at least is geared in that way. But the show, I watched episodes of the show like after, like now, and it works for YouTube, I guess, but I can see how it did not work for late night television. But that is I added that in because that's what made me think of this video, but that is not even close to the things that Lilly Singh has to answer for. Not even close in the slightest. But based on her track record, I don't think we will ever get a response. But yeah, she's coming out with a show with Kenya Barris. Kenya Barris has not stopped terrorizing my people. And I don't think this will be any different. No. But that was my rant, I guess. I'm normally not like this. You can watch my last video, which is my Studio Ghibli video, and I'm smiling and I'm just like a goofball in that whole video. But this pissed me off. It really did. But Lilly Singh is gonna do what Lilly Singh is gonna do. She is rich. Which is why. And before I end off, there's this thing too that's really annoying. So she used to do the whole like cheap thing and being broke thing and all of that stuff in 2014, 2015. Lilly, we know that you're not broke. You could be cheap, but it's just giving very like Shane Dawson vibes, where he lives in a mansion and he's walking around in a t-shirt all day. Like, we know that, and it's just, you didn't grow with your audience. You didn't give us like, as you grew in like status, I guess. You got a late night TV show. You obviously made more money. You grew, and I don't know what to make of your personality, because I didn't follow your vlogs like that anymore. But I'm gonna make the assumption that you grew in personality. So you grew in all of these different aspects, but me revisiting your content is the same content that I saw when I was a 14-year-old child. So I don't know what else to say about Lilly Singh. That was a video. Subscribe if you want to. I try to post videos every week, I guess, and yeah, hopefully I edit this down to 30 minutes because I talk way too much. But yeah, I guess I will see you in the next one. Click around and then see what else you would like to watch on this channel. Subscribe if you want to see more of my face. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.